Ooh, lazy.
Game Federer.
Ooh, lazy.
Oh my God, what a second serve. Today on Coffee Break Tennis, we talk about what's going on in Dubai mostly. We'll get a little bit into Gael Monfils, talk a little bit about my favorite next-gen tennis player of all, Stefanos Tsitsipas. We probably won't have much time to talk about Acapulco, talk about Rafa, talk about the big match coming up tonight, Nadal, Kyrgios. That will be for tomorrow. But we'll have plenty of time to talk about Roger Federer's two matches we've got to see. First two matches since his loss to Stefanos Tsitsipas in the Australian Open. Also, we'll talk about the court speed. Yes, it is the trend across the tour to slow down every court, even if they've been known historically for being very fast. Dubai, the latest to fall victim. Talk about what's good, talk about what's bad. All that and a tiny bit more maybe on Coffee Break Tennis. So first up from the man himself, after Roger Federer wrapped up his win in 3 sets, two veterans of the game, great players, Cole Schreiber, the Cole Pickle, Fernando Verdasco. Not the easiest first 2 matches back after a long break. And I think while these 2 matches are fairly similar, we saw a couple things that were a little different in the second sets of what went wrong for Roger. And we're going to talk mostly about the one with Verdasco today. So from the man himself, like I said, right after the match, Roger said he was on edge. This is from the AFP.com. This is a new one for Coffee Break Tennis, but today we're going with AFP.com, which is just taking it straight out of the press conference after the match. On edge, Federer unsure of title century, 100 titles, after moving into Dubai last 8. Roger Federer is just 3 wins away from his 100th career title after seeing off Fernando Verdasco to move into the last 8 of the Dubai Championships. 20-time Grand Slam winner Federer said he was living on the edge after a hard-fought last 16 victory at the Aviation Club. Cool name. 37-year-old is now the tournament's highest seed following Kei Nishikori's shocking defeat. Is it so shocking to see Kei Nishikori lose under any circumstances anywhere in the world at any time? You're definitely living on the edge at some point in the match. This is how it is. Federer said afterwards, "I'm happy I stayed calm throughout, as having a good feeling out there even though I wasn't playing my best. I still felt like it was going to fall my way when it really mattered." And of course it did, and all the Fed fans did, but that's not what Fed fans want. They don't want to see Roger Federer pull it together at the end of a tight match with Fernando Verdasco. They want to see him pull it together, or not necessarily even lose control of his match, and find ways to beat Rafa, or Novak Djokovic, or freaking Tsitsipas, born a Coric type guys now. We got these young guns who present problems at times as well. Roger Federer wrapped up this first story we have for you today with, "I'm not sure if I'm going to get to 100. Let's just put it that way." Not anything any Fed fan wants to hear. But I thought, and I got to hear Annabelle Croft. Apparently, Sky Sports no longer has Dubai, and Annabelle Croft was featured on Tennis Channel, and I watched most of the match today on my phone with the awesome ATP Tennis TV app. So we're going to show you a couple clips from the match, courtesy of Tennis TV, courtesy of the ATP now. They added ATP, although ATP always had Tennis TV. But now ATP is featured on the Tennis TV logo as you watch the matches. Very cool. So while Roger Federer was very much in control of the match, up a set. Was he ever up? I don't think he was. I think he was down 3-0 actually, but it did not look like he would be broken in that first service game. So you can see right here, he's up 15-love, 1-0 after Verdasco held to start the second set. And we see that Federer's first serve placement, a lot of slice serves going to, because Verdasco's a lefty, and his forehand is one of the best weapons on tour, has been for a while, especially when he's playing well. So Roger got to use the Rafa effect. When you get to play a lefty as a righty, you can start hitting slice serves that curl away from their backhands, and very effective with Verdasco. And then Annabelle Croft and whoever the lovely chap, the gentleman with her in the commentary booth today was, I didn't catch his name. They noticed that Roger stopped doing it. But first, just take a look. He ran this play so many times. You can see right here, 61% slice serves on the first serve going away from the backhand. And some of them were very nasty serves. But, take a look at this clip, courtesy of ATP Tennis TV.
And why not? Until Verdasco finds an answer to that, Annabelle.
That's right. And why not, says the unidentified male. Somebody comment below who that is, and I thank you in advance. So this is from on the changeover after the first set was completed. They caught a clip of Verdasco like motioning through his lefty two-hand backhand, kind of trying to figure out why the heck can I hit this. Just listen, courtesy of ATP Tennis TV. Again, listen, this is pretty funny.
I'm not happy through that sit down. He's thinking, how do I deal with that serve and volley out wide to my backhand? How can I counter it?
Or you could do what tennis genius and coaching guru Peter Friedman would advise. Just move up. Get into that doubles alley and move up and cut that thing off. Take the serve away. That would be the best advice. But what we noticed was Roger Federer got away from this tactic pretty soon after. I think the first thing we saw was he hit that slice serve, but he didn't come to the net. Then he missed the inside-out forehand. Next thing you know, he's serving and volleying to the Verdasco forehand on a second serve on the deuce court. And Annabelle Croft was saying this is very confusing. Federer, after he was broken and when he finds himself down 3-0, because after that, Verdasco serves a great game where he just looks very confident all of a sudden. He's serving fantastically. Nothing like that clip we saw in the very beginning. Play that one more time because that was just too good.
Ooh, nice.
Put a heart on it.
Ooh, nice.
Bookmark it forever. So down 3-0, Annabelle Croft points out, Roger Federer put himself in his own trouble. And the unidentified male commentator with Annabelle Croft said something like, you have to wonder if sometimes Roger just does this to prove that he can win the other way as well, like it was too easy for him. But I don't think that's what it was. I think maybe in that second set with Kohlschreiber, it was more about wind, Federer was struggling with some timing, Federer was missing a ton of forehands. He still did that in this match, and that's a problem going forwards. That's what ultimately many people would say killed Roger Federer in the Tsitsipas match at the Australian Open. Federer just missed too many forehands that he should have made. But in this second set with Verdasco, I think Roger was just working on different stuff. And I think to credit Annabelle Croft, she said that at some point in the match, said, maybe what it is Roger's just trying to work out all of his different serves, different shots. And it made me remember last year when Federer kept going after the Del Potro forehand in the Indian Wells final, which, of course, coming up soon, Roger's going to have to get back in that final. Winning this tournament would give him a top 4 seed, which is key. But if Federer is going to win this tournament, the serve looks great. I'll show you in a moment the footwork and the volley looks great. The forehand, not so much. Backhand looks good enough to win, I think. But the forehand timing is definitely a little off. And maybe it goes back to last year when Federer injured his hand and was just not hitting his forehand very well for most of the year. And maybe now it's a confidence thing. Maybe the hand is fine, but he just hasn't felt the confidence on the forehand that he normally has had throughout his career. And it made me think about how stubborn he was when he wanted to go after the Del Potro forehand in the Indian Wells final last year, which a lot of people thought cost him the match. Should have just played the game plan, stuck to it. So while I felt like Roger was just trying to work on a lot of stuff, there's a thing with Roger where he has to prove to himself that he's going to beat your best shot because he's the best. I don't know. Comment below what you think about that. I think it's a very interesting theory. I'm not 100% sure if that's what goes through his head. How could anyone be sure? But it's an interesting thing to think about. I got it right here. Goran Ivanisevic thinks he knows the date Roger Federer will retire from the Mirror in the UK. Spoiler alert, they never mention an actual date in this article, but we'll save that for the end. We got a few minutes here. Let's go through some other stuff that's not so Fed-centric. So on the other half of the draw, all the seeds are pretty much out. Borna Coric was fortunate to get through Tomas Birdman Berdych. I'm hearing different pronunciations on the tennis channel all the time. We'll never know how to pronounce anybody's name in this great game we call tennis. So Coric is still alive, meaning I think there's only 3 seeds. Stefanos Tsitsipas, who looked very good, although he was fortunate to get a qualifier. In his first round, who do you have? Matthew Ebden of Australia. A little fortunate there after dropping the second set. Or did he drop the first set? I don't know. He dropped the set. And in the third set, a little lucky, like with Kohlschreiber. Federer got a little lucky because Kohlschreiber didn't play as well in the third set. You could say the same for Verdasco. Didn't play quite as well in the third set as he did in the second. And Ebden clearly had some kind of ankle problem and was not moving very well at the end and kind of helped Tsitsipas, who just won in Marseille. We got to credit Tsitsipas because last time I spoke with you, remember Tsitsipas had a couple disappointing losses back-to-back. One of them losing to Gael Monfils. Not so embarrassing. Monfils has been playing better and better, and he's doing it here in Dubai after dropping a bagel on Marin Cilic. The Big Chill. So while Tsitsipas was fortunate to have a qualifier and get through him in less than an hour after all that work in Marseille, however the heck you say it, I do see him possibly being able to get through to the final, and Federer possibly being able to get through the final and getting that sweet rematch that I know many of you will want as badly as I do. Borna hasn't been so great. Karen Kakinak, he's been losing first round all over the place. He's definitely struggling. So I wouldn't put much stock in Coric either. But Gael Monfils is inspired, and I think I know why. It all goes to Alina Svitolina. Gael Monfils has a girlfriend, and she works really hard and takes tennis really serious. And while I don't know if necessarily Monfils is now taking the sport more serious and training, as he says in this article from Sport 360, that he's not trying to be just like her, train just as hard as her. He says they're very different. They have different passions for the game. But I think he now puts more of a value on winning tennis matches because she values it so much. Now, before anyone comments some hate at me saying, of course Monfils wants to win, likes to win. Well, we've seen some, he was Kyrgios before we had Kyrgios, right? Monfils, some head-scratching moments like, does he want to be out there? Does he even care? Of course, Kyrgios has outdone him in that. But we got to point it out, and it seems like Monfils is taking it more seriously, dare I say, to impress his girlfriend. Maybe we'll get him in the final? Gael Monfils admits Alina Svitolina's approach to tennis is too serious for him. I admire what she's doing, how she works, the mentality she has. It's incredible, but I always say, not for me. Not for me. She's too serious for me. It's her way. It's her way to be where she is, even to become, better, the Frenchman told reporters in Dubai after setting up a second-round match against Marcos Baghdadis. Me, the only motivation that I will say that we have is to make the other proud. I love when she wins. I'm very proud of her. I think the same for her. Make each other proud. So maybe my theory is true. This quote kind of links it up pretty good. Monfils just wants to make her proud. She has a higher value on toughing out tough matches and getting the win than Monfils does maybe. Anyways, comment below what you think of that. Another theory. Pure speculation. Hearsay. But fun to talk about. All right, we only got a few more minutes before we get out of here. Let's look at some stats from the Fed match that I thought was important. I don't even remember what I had here. Oh, this is to prove that maybe my theory of Federer wanting to try some stuff out in the second set. You see that Federer was taking shots inside the baseline more frequently in the second set, even though he played better in the first set. Maybe that was a little desperation. Maybe that was a little desperation to get back into the match or something like that. We can see. Of course, errors to winners. Federer hit a ton of winners. That's great. A lot of forehand winners. I mean, the forehand's not totally broken or anything. It's just not where a lot of people think it should be. And again, it's been very windy. Oh, and that's the last couple things we'll do. A lot of Federer stuff today. But, he's back, baby. What else are we going to talk about? 27 unforced errors from Roger Federer. That's more than Verdasco, yet he won the match. And 14 of those, the majority of those unforced errors on the forehand. Here's a tweet from Balraj. The last and only time when Federer won the first 2 round matches of a 500 event in 3 sets, he went on to win the tournament. When was it? 2005 in Dubai. When you play 20 years, there's a lot of stats like this. What does it mean? You be the judge. From Prasanth, a tweet on the Twitters. Set 1 and set 3 comparison. 5 points lost on serve in set 1. 80%, but in set 3, an even higher win percentage on the first serve for Roger. Excellent level in the third. Key, yet again, didn't panic. I mentioned that tweet because of the end. Didn't panic. Federer said it himself in the other sheet of paper that I already crumpled up. My question is, what if he was playing Djokovic? Would he panic then? Maybe. And final thing before we give you Big Goran's prediction on Federer retirement is Roger Federer in Tennis World. This is from Tennis World. Controlling the ball in Dubai is very difficult. Roger Federer does not feel the court conditions in Dubai really favor him. The service speed used to be very big in the past. Very big? Federer feels it's not like this anymore. So he's saying the court has slowed down considerably. So Federer said about the court, I think it's more gritty now, a bit more like Indian Wells, which I think is a good thing. Used to be a really fast court. And even in practice here, all the weeks I've spent here, it's been very difficult to control the ball. He went on to say it's because of wind and other things, but there's no denying it's more gritty and slow like Indian Wells. So not a good thing for the Federer game as he likes the fast courts, but a very good thing if you're looking for a little prep going into Indian Wells where you have to defend finalist points. Ooh, almost lost it. Let's read this last thing before we get out of here. Tennis legend Goran Ivanisevic thinks he knows the date Roger Federer will retire. This is from The Mirror in the UK. Federer, 37, has repeatedly dismissed retirement talk and remains ranked 7th in the world rankings, winning the Australian Open last year and retaining the Hopman Cup in January. And Goran has predicted Federer, a 20-time Grand Slam winner, will call time on his glittering career either this year or next year. So, no specific date there. I do not think anyone can take Djokovic off the throne. Federer, Djokovic, Nadal, they still dominate world tennis, but I think Federer will retire quickly, if not this year, next year. Federer announced his intention to play on through the upcoming clay season last month. It sparked speculation of a farewell tour in the run-up to retirement, but Roger quickly dismissed those rumors as false. It's false, baby. Comment below, is it false? You know, more and more people are speculating, even people who were Fed loyalists, you could say, in the past, saying that, retirement's way off and he can play the way he's playing, he can play till he's 40, stuff like that. A lot of people are starting to turn and say maybe it's coming soon. My advice to you, just keep watching the matches. Don't worry about it. We'll know when it's coming soon. We'll know when Roger Federer's game totally falls apart and the body stops working. That's when it's actually coming soon. All right. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about the big Nadal-Kyrgios match, talk about what happens with Tsitsipas, Federer, Monfils, all your favorites over at the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships. And we'll even do a freaking video on Friday. We'll give you a weekend video. This week, we're going video heavy. And of course, we get some big tournaments coming up soon in March. Indian Wells and Miami. See ya!